Today was a very newsworthy day, man. A very newsworthy day. It all started with Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey canceled from the Survivor Series this coming Sunday. If you guys want my thoughts and opinions on everything that happened with Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw, 30-minute, just completely diving into the subject on Off the Script Extra, go and check it out. 15,000 views and counting in a span of 7 hours, man. Go check it out. Thank you guys so much for all the support. It is live on the channel right now in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. You know, I come on here and I talk a very, very, very big yet logical game in the YouTube podcasting wrestling community. I am usually a man of many words when it comes to professional wrestling, especially WWE. And I'm a man who thinks he has all the answers. Some days better than most. But tonight, I can honestly tell you guys that I don't have any answers for you. I don't know why things happened tonight on Smackdown Live. I don't know why WWE decided to take the WWE Championship off of AJ Styles. I don't know why WWE put the title on Daniel Bryan. Even though it's something that I have wanted to see ever since he's come back. I don't know why the WWE turned Daniel Bryan heel. And I don't know why WWE is giving us Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte at Survivor Series and pretty much fast-tracking that from WrestleMania. I guess we should start at the top. The one topic that everybody was talking about literally all day long, and that is Becky Lynch and the state of the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. She did not relinquish the championship. She did not walk away and just leave the title laying like Roman Reigns did on Monday Night Raw several weeks ago. She is still, as of right now, the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. But she will not be at Survivor Series. It was reported by multiple credible sources that she will not be at the Survivor Series to go one-on-one with Becky Lynch. She has entrusted Charlotte to take the match and win the match for SmackDown Live at Survivor Series. I am shocked by this decision. A decision that at first I didn't really like, but the more I think about it, I think there's more positive to come out of it for everybody. That it's happening now. But I do want to make one note. I don't know why they even lined up Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Complete garbage. They are fucking irrelevant. Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Naomi, Lana. Like, I don't even know why you even brought out the fucking rest of the women. And this is my perspective. This is my point of view here. I don't know why you're going to bring out the rest of the women. Because WWE's job is to make everybody look as strong as possible. Why are you going to bring out the rest of the women and pretty much shit all over them without actually shitting all over them? You got Ronda Rousey's name in Spotlight for the Survivor Series. Your job is to pick a suitable replacement for Becky Lynch. You know, having the visual of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, Lana, Naomi, Carmella, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville out there is absolutely damaging to all of their characters. You would have got the same point across with Becky Lynch by having her in the ring only with Paige and then bringing out Charlotte Flair. There was no reason to line up everybody as if they're equal. They're not. Because at the same time, you're making everyone look that much more inferior to Charlotte and Becky. And that's not what you should be doing. It's not what you should be doing whatsoever. So I had an issue with that. And I know you guys thought the same way. Because I can't be feeling that all by myself. Now, that's not me nitpicking. That's not me moaning and complaining and bitching and crying. That's a legitimate gripe. If I'm a wrestling promoter, I'm not doing that. The other thing I want to make note of is the fact that WWE could have avoided picking Charlotte to go against Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series. Did you hear the reaction that Asuka got? Did you see how animated Asuka was? You heard legitimately every word out of her mouth. She wasn't speaking Japanese. She wasn't yelling at anybody in a different language. She is ready. She is ready for Ronda. No one is ready for Asuka. Asuka would have been a very, very suitable replacement for Becky Lynch. But I understand why they didn't. And in fact, I'm glad they didn't pick Asuka. I'm glad they didn't pick Asuka because Asuka right now is as irrelevant as Peyton Royce and Billie Kay and the rest of the roster. So that's my take on that. Yes, in theory, I want Asuka to go one-on-one with Ronda Rousey. It could have been. Asuka should have been built up and maintained that momentum coming out of WrestleMania. Asuka should have won the title from Carmella. We should be realistically looking at Asuka versus Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series. But here comes this fucking angel that we all love with red hair named Becky Lynch. And anybody that was going to be named was going to pale in comparison, even your precious Charlotte Flair, to Becky Lynch. So Becky very clearly made it known that this is not over. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination. She and Ronda will go at it eventually. So I am not worried about that whatsoever. At this point, WWE is pretty much forced at some point in the future to give me Becky Lynch, or give us rather, Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. Simple as that. And I mentioned this on the Off the Script Extra that I did today. This is an absolute blessing in disguise for WWE because not only does it put WWE with their backs against the wall right now, but after Survivor Series, everything is going to be that much more easier for WWE. This legitimately writes itself. It doesn't take a fucking creative writer with all these years of experience to pen this storyline. It does not. WWE has multiple roads that they could go down. I love the decision that Becky picked Charlotte. One thing that people were upset about was that Becky hugged Charlotte. I don't understand why people are upset about this. Like, why are you getting all salty about Becky hugging Charlotte? Now, people were even upset that Charlotte was helping out Becky Lynch at SmackDown Live last night with no mention that they were in a volcanic-like feud for a couple of months now. That didn't really bother me whatsoever. If it did bother me, I would have mentioned it on the Raw review last night. But it didn't bother me. And now people are getting upset that Becky is hugging Charlotte and pretty much putting away all the animosity that was there. You do realize that after their match, what animosity is there? They fought it out. Becky beat Charlotte. They pretty much went to war with one another. And at the end of a match like that, we all know how Becky is acting, and Becky is just on a completely different level right now. Charlotte, she never shit on the fans. She was always very, grounded, and she was trying to gain sympathy. But when you're put through a war like that, no matter with Becky Lynch and Charlotte, two characters that are completely opposite of one another, when you come together at the end of a match like that, you have nothing but the utmost respect for each other. And that is what the hug meant tonight. The fact that Becky knew what Charlotte was capable of at Evolution in their match, there was no better choice than Charlotte Flair for Survivor Series. So why are we going to be upset about the choice of Charlotte and then the hug of Becky to Charlotte? Like, I don't understand people's gripe with that. I didn't have a problem with that last night, and I didn't have a problem with that tonight. I mean, this is Raw versus SmackDown. This is Becky's war. Becky is enlisting Charlotte to fight for her. Charlotte even made mention of that. She fought against Becky. On Monday, she fought with Becky. And on Sunday, she fights for Becky. I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. Because not only does it continue Becky and Charlotte, it continues Becky and Ronda. And a lot of people didn't make mention of this. WWE has the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen on the back burner. If you do not think this is leading to a match with all 8 of those women, you are a fucking fool. I could very well see. We could all very well see. And I know she's going to lose the... I have a feeling she's going to lose the title on Saturday night. I could very well see Shayna Baszler getting involved and making her main roster debut after Survivor Series. I've been predicting it for weeks now. That's only step 1. There's a reason why Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir were on camera during a main roster pay-per-view for WWE. They're planting seeds. So WWE is getting you ready for that while maintaining Becky and Charlotte, continuing the next chapter of their head-to-head one-on-one, and continuing Ronda and Becky Lynch. This injury to Becky Lynch is a blessing in disguise for WWE. I don't understand everybody getting so upset that the match is not happening. You do realize that the match that we were never supposed to see, with a Becky Lynch we were never supposed to see, has now transformed itself into a WrestleMania main event. So what is there to fucking bitch and complain about? If you want something to bitch and complain about, it's the fact that Nia Jax is green as fucking grass. If you want something to bitch and complain about, Nia Jax should not be in a pro wrestling ring. I'm looking at all the fucking tweets today. I'm looking at all the hate and the backlash that Nia Jax is getting. How do you think she feels? If Nia Jax doesn't turn around and use that as motivation to get better at her craft, then she doesn't belong in a wrestling ring. First of all, she should have been at a certain level to be competing in the ring with who they got on that show. But she's not. She's not. And I never called for Brie Bella's termination. Never. Never. I stated that Brie Bella should go down to developmental. I stated that Brie Bella should be out of the ring until she is ring ready. Nia Jax should not be in a Raw or SmackDown ring. Nia Jax should have never even been pulled from NXT. Ever. Ever. She was not even close to being ready. 2 years of progress for Nia Jax in the main roster, and she's shown nothing as far as improvement goes. Nothing. So, for everyone calling for her firing, her termination, her suspension, her title match being revoked, cut the shit. What Nia Jax needs is a little PC time. Performance Center time. She needs to go down there and speak to Sarah Amato, and she needs to train with William Regal and Matt Bloom and everybody else to get her to where she needs to be. This is Nia Jax's fault just as much as it's WWE's fault. Because I seen the fucking clip. I recorded the video that I did today without seeing the clip that they posted on SmackDown Live tonight. That looked like it was fucking intentional. The fist that she threw at Becky Lynch looked like it was fucking intentional. Now, if you're a seasoned veteran, you ain't going to be throwing a punch like that. Nia Jax is not a seasoned veteran. Nia Jax needs work. Nia Jax shouldn't even be in the ring. Nia Jax shouldn't even be in a major program on this show. She shouldn't be on Team Survivor Series. She shouldn't be at the Survivor Series. That's my take on that. So with all the Nia Jax hate, cut the shit. I would never call for anybody's termination. Never. Unless something catastrophic fucking happened. This is not catastrophic. This is breaking news, but this is a blessing in disguise for WWE. You're all complaining about it. Meanwhile, this is only going to magnify Becky's fucking, I guess, legacy. That's what it's becoming now. That's how big it is. Becky has transcended the women's division and is bigger than the women's division right now. How many times do I have to tell you? This match was never supposed to happen. This Becky Lynch, we were never supposed to see this Becky Lynch. Never. Now you're all complaining about a match that we were never supposed to get. And now look at Becky Lynch. This injury just put her in the main event of WrestleMania. Mark my words. This is going to be the main event of WrestleMania, with or without Charlotte. So I don't see how this is a bad thing. Plus, we get Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey now. Now, for all the complaining that I did about her being the female Roman Reigns, and all the complaining that you did, how they're setting up Ronda's reign for Charlotte to take over and have Charlotte beat Ronda, I'm thrilled that this is not happening at WrestleMania, because now we're getting the match over and done with in November, and come April, it's going to be even more of a main event with Becky involved. And it's going to be a little bit more unpredictable. This is fucking fantastic. I don't know if they're going to strip Becky of the title. I don't know. I don't know how long Becky's going to be out. They described it as a broken face. A broken face. Becky's face looked terrible. She still looked hot. She still looked like a fucking unbelievable... She could be part of the War Raiders. Seriously. She should be in fucking War Games with the War Raiders and Pete Dunne and Ricochet. That's how fucking badass Becky is right now. But she still looked hot. And she still looked like a fucking beast. Even though her face looked fucked up from what Nia Jax did. Now, I don't know if they're going to strip the title of Becky. But if they do, I'm sure WWE will come up with some solution to get the title on either Charlotte or Asuka and build Asuka back up. That could be a way for WWE to build Asuka back up. We may get Charlotte versus Asuka 2 out of it. And if Becky is going to be stripped of the title, this is all me assuming right now. If Becky's going to be stripped of the title, do you know what this means for Becky? Becky should stay out until January. Stay out until the Royal Rumble. You hear that announcement of the Women's Royal Rumble take place, and that number one position, and you hear that theme music, that fucking crowd in Phoenix goes crazy, and Becky Lynch wins the Royal Rumble from the number one position, and she goes on to WrestleMania, not to fight Charlotte, not to fight Ronda, but Becky, the way she is, and the Becky that we've seen been built up over the past few months, she wants both of them bitches in the fucking ring. Because that's what Becky's going to do. I don't give a shit how you book it. I don't give a shit, well, JD, how do you determine a winner? I don't give a shit. I've been clamoring and calling for the WWE to unify the titles anyway. That's what I would do. I know that WWE probably won't do that. But either way you look at it, this is a good thing. Becky not being at the Survivor Series is putting her in the main event of WrestleMania with or without Charlotte against Ronda Rousey. Do you know that when you take a match like that away, that everybody was looking forward to, a match that people were calling to be the main event of Survivor Series, over the WWE Championship, over everything on that show, you take a match like that away from people and you don't give it to them for whatever reason, and in this case, a Becky Lynch injury, do you know how much more people are going to want to see that match happen in New Jersey at WrestleMania? This is a blessing for WWE that it worked out this way. A fucking blessing. And we're going to get the horsewomen angle all started because of this one fucking thing. That was one thing that people were talking about. How are Becky and Charlotte going to get back on the same page? There you go. Not only do we get Becky probably in the main event of WrestleMania, but now we get the horsewomen angle already fucking seeds planted for that to get started. I'm looking at this in the utmost positive way. I don't trust WWE as far as I could fucking see them. I don't trust them to do anything right. But for fuck's sake, this writes itself. If they fuck this up, then there's no hope for this company at all. This is the best, this is the biggest angle that they got going on right now on both Raw and SmackDown. It writes itself. I hope to God they get this right. I hope to God they know what they have in Becky Lynch. This division is not Charlotte's anymore. I'm sorry. Charlotte had her place in the women's evolution. Okay? You pushed her to an 8 fucking time champion already. She had her time. She did what she did with Sasha Banks. You did the Iron Women match. You did the Falls Count Anywhere match. You did the Hell in a Cell match. And you traded the title back and forth as if it was a fucking hot potato with sour cream, chives, and fucking cheese with Charlotte and Sasha Banks. That was her position in the Evolution. We don't need Charlotte anymore to be the face of the Evolution. Everyone has to get a turn. Everyone has to get a turn. And now it's Becky's turn. Now it's Becky's turn. Okay? This is Becky's time. Becky going into WrestleMania should be the one to beat Ronda Rousey. Simple. Becky has been more over than Charlotte has ever been in her entire WWE main roster run. This division is not Charlotte's anymore. Ronda was brought in to evolve and legitimize the women's revolution or the women's division, right? Now this is her time to fucking legitimize and evolve. Ronda doesn't need a championship. Ronda's name value alone is going to legitimize anything that WWE wants because she's Ronda Rousey. It's about time she gives back. This is why she's here. This is WWE's investment to legitimize the women's division. So now their investment is going to pay off. And it's going to pay off through Becky Lynch. Becky should be the one to beat Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Ronda should be doing the honors for people like Becky. She doesn't need to come in and blow everybody away. Okay? I want to see her progress, and I want to see her cement her own legacy as a pro wrestler. But based on the name value that is Ronda Rousey, she should be doing the honors for every one of the women that started this fucking thing. Sasha and Charlotte had their time. Now it's Becky's time. Becky is going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And if she's not, fuck this company. That's my take on Charlotte and Becky and the announcement that Charlotte is going to go one-on-one with Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series. Now, my logic with the Becky Lynch-Charlotte stuff was that WWE was looking for a marquee match. They had one big marquee match that was canceled in Becky versus Ronda. They replaced one marquee match with another marquee match. Now we got Charlotte versus Ronda. So WWE is set to go. They just replaced one with the other. We're good to go. It might not be champion versus champion, but we're good to go. Okay? It is a dream match. It's a match that we've been talking about for months being a WrestleMania match, and we're getting it at Survivor Series. It's a big fucking deal. That's a selling point right there for WWE and the Survivor Series. It's a suitable replacement. There was nobody else that could do the deed unless it was Asuka. And WWE wasn't going to do Asuka, and I didn't want to have WWE put Asuka in that position because she's not there yet. She's not there yet. They've buried her so much that, nobody's going to believe Asuka's going to beat Ronda Rousey. They got to go with the marquee name, okay? So they got their marquee match. Then we see what happened in the beginning of the show with AJ Styles and Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman, I guess, taunting AJ Styles as if he is the number 2 guy on this show. That there's one guy on this show that's better than him, and his name is Daniel Bryan. So Paul Heyman was pretty much there playing the role of an instigator. And AJ took offense to this. And Daniel Bryan obviously took offense to this as well. Why are you mentioning my name? You beat me. You made me tap out. Okay, fine. AJ thought they had squashed everything and they shook hands and they hugged at the end of the match. Fine. Daniel Bryan didn't want him to say his name. Daniel Bryan didn't want to hear his name uttered by AJ Styles at all. And AJ provoked Daniel Bryan to a point where they made a rematch for the WWE Championship. This was WWE's back against the wall. This happened before Becky even made her announcement. So the match was obviously the main event of SmackDown Live. We got the announcement of Charlotte and Becky. There's the marquee match that you're looking for at Survivor Series. So my logic was that AJ, There's no way that they're going to take the title off AJ Styles. Now they got their marquee match in Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. So what point is WWE trying to make by taking the title off of AJ Styles? And that's exactly what they did tonight. And I don't know why. I don't know why. At the beginning of the show, I was excited about Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar being a possibility. By the end of the show, I just don't know why. And then on top of Daniel Bryan becoming the new WWE champion, now we got a heel turn, and Daniel Bryan is questionably fucking making a bad decision here. And I don't know what to think about it. I don't really know what to think about it. And I say questionably because some people love it and some people fucking hate it. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're thinking. I really don't. There's so many things running through my head right now, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know how to attack this. With the announcement of Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, there was no reason to take the title off of AJ Styles. None. Now, with AJ Styles losing the WWE Championship, I get the feeling that WWE they don't respect AJ Styles enough to put him in the ring with Brock Lesnar. They don't respect AJ's title reign enough to keep the title on him. Like, who didn't want to see AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar 2 at the Survivor Series? Now, why is Daniel Bryan the WWE champion? Why would you opt to go with Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar instead of AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar? Like, honestly, I don't want to make the comparison, but I feel like WWE is treating AJ Styles in 2018 like the Jinder Mahal of 2017. It makes zero sense for Daniel Bryan, after the announcement of Charlotte being the one to challenge Ronda Rousey, it makes zero sense for Daniel Bryan to go on and challenge Brock Lesnar at the Survivor Series. How is anyone going to believe Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar now? Daniel Bryan is in no way ready for Brock Lesnar. No. No way. He hasn't been built. He's been floating around in mid-card obscurity. Like, why would anyone believe that Daniel Bryan is even going to have a fucking, an iota of a chance against Brock Lesnar? At least AJ brought him to a fucking certain limit last year. To a point where maybe AJ can go back and study tape. Maybe AJ knows what to do against Brock Lesnar this year and figure out a way that he can beat him this year and figure out what he didn't do last year to beat him. No, but now we gotta watch Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar go at it one-on-one. On one hand, I'm fucking excited. On one hand, I'm excited because watching Daniel Bryan in one corner versus Brock Lesnar in the other is fucking epic in its own right. This is something that I've wanted to see for 4 years now. But not like this. I didn't want to see it like this. I wanted to see it when Daniel Bryan went through the Rumble, when he went through the struggles, when he overcame everything. And he was on the verge of becoming the top guy again. By giving Bryan the title, not only do you shit on AJ Styles and everything that he did in the entire year, but you're forcing it, you're rushing it, and you're giving me a Daniel Bryan right now that honestly has been picked from the bottom of the barrel and placed at the top when he's not even ready. Daniel Bryan is not a believable character. They haven't put him through the ringer to be a believable character to go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar. AJ's been there, done that. There was no reason for this. None. And WWE turned him heel. I am a little bit more open to that than I am the match at Survivor Series. So now it looks like AJ is going to take Bryan's spot. It's like they just did role reversal. AJ is going to take Bryan's spot on Team Smackdown, and Bryan is taking AJ's spot in the Lesnar match. Now the heel turn. I don't know why they did what they did. You know, I can make an assumption, but I don't know how true it is. This has got to be Vince McMahon telling the fans, fuck you. This has to be the fans just getting shit on by WWE. I don't have any other logic behind that. Now, I did mention that I'm a little bit more open to Daniel Bryan turning heel. Now, look at what it did for Johnny Gargano. And look at what it did for Tommaso Ciampa. If we get, and that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me exactly of what Johnny Gargano did and said in NXT. It's like a mirror fucking image. Johnny Gargano said, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not the bad guy. I have to do what I have to do to get ahead. Sometimes the good guys gotta fight dirty. That's what Daniel Bryan did tonight. He did the dirtiest thing of dirtiest things by low-blowing a guy behind the official's back. He low-blowed a guy who we all know he respects in AJ Styles. Johnny Gargano did the same thing to Aleister Black because he wanted to be the one to take the title from Tommaso Ciampa. He didn't want a third party getting involved, ruining his moment. Daniel Bryan has made mention of this several times already. I've waited for this moment to get this title back ever since I came back to this fucking company, cleared to wrestle. I will do whatever it takes that, if it's something like that, to take me to the top, to the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan didn't do anything wrong. Daniel Bryan didn't do a goddamn fucking thing wrong. Daniel Bryan did what he had to do to get the title back that he never lost. He never lost. And how things come full circle. That year, Bryan was slated to go against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. The beating that John Cena took, that was supposed to be Daniel Bryan. John Cena was only a replacement for Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan was out hurt. Now how everything comes full circle. Now we're getting Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar for the very same title 4 years later. I don't mind Daniel Bryan going heel. I don't. Because WWE, I felt, they weren't doing Daniel Bryan any favors. Daniel Bryan was very lukewarm with reaction. Daniel Bryan was not as over as he was when he first came back, and even dating back to 4 years ago. The Yes Movement has been lukewarm. So a change in attitude for Daniel Bryan may very well be the best thing for him right now. So I don't know how everybody else feels about this. I am more open to the heel turn aspect of it. And yes, Daniel Bryan is a heel because of the way he smiled and the way he just maniacally fucking just grinned at the end of the show. That's all heel right there. Something's fucked up with Daniel Bryan. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. He channeled his inner Blackheart. He channeled his inner Tommaso Ciampa tonight. That I have to respect. But it's very similar. It's very, very mirror-like to what Johnny Gargano did. I'm the good guy here. I didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes the good guys got to do what they got to do to get ahead. You know? So, Daniel Bryan, I'm more open to the heel turn. But I don't know if giving him the WWE Championship right now to go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar is a realistic scenario. And with the way the WWE booked the end of this match, you know that whatever happens at the Survivor Series between Bryan and Lesnar, WWE has a program waiting for Bryan and Styles coming out of the Survivor Series. WWE could have did a multitude of things here. This was completely booked on the fly. WWE could have did one thing that would have made the most fucking sense here. Now, I am open to the heel turn. I don't prefer it, but I'm open to it. Because sometimes you got to go through the dark side to come out even bigger on the other side, right? I've always stated that. This is why I love what's going on with Johnny Gargano right now in NXT. This is what I wanted them to do with Roman Reigns. Nobody listened to me. Now we're doing it with Daniel Bryan. I feel like Vince is fucking with us. Y'all wanted me to do it with Roman, so now I'm going to do it with Daniel. That's the feeling that I get. But WWE could have avoided all of this. We could have had Daniel Bryan as a babyface. Daniel Bryan's moment could have still been reserved for WrestleMania. But if WWE really wanted a fucking barn burner of a match, they could have given the title to someone who fucking deserves a goddamn run with the title, and nothing would have had to been changed. Samoa Joe could have easily won the WWE Championship at Crown Jewel if WWE had a fucking brain in their heads, we could have been looking at a Joe versus Lesnar 2 at Survivor Series instead of a Styles Lesnar 2, which I would have been okay with, or a Daniel Bryan Brock Lesnar match that now, to me, yes, looks epic, but doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Even though Bryan and Styles are probably set up for what's to come at TLC. I don't know. I really don't know. And just a funny little piece here. I mentioned on my Monday Night Raw review to what Brock Lesnar did to the fucking Singh brothers on Monday night. I think we should be genuinely afraid of Daniel Bryan's fucking health here. Because if he threw the Singh brothers around like that, what is he going to do to Daniel Bryan? I don't know. The other thing that I'm thinking about here is I know WWE sat down with Daniel Bryan and signed him to a long-term deal. I know what happened there. That was a big thing over the summer. They kept it very quiet. Several reports came out that WWE sat down with Daniel Bryan and he wanted certain things in his contract that would give him creative control, people who he wants to work with, and I feel like most of that actually was proven to be true tonight. WWE gave Daniel Bryan the WWE title. He is now a WWE champion once again. Daniel Bryan's heel turn was probably signed off and okayed by Daniel Bryan. I do think, I don't know, I don't have any confirmed sources on this, I do think that Daniel Bryan has some sort of creative control in his contract. So I do think, in part, he agreed to what happened tonight. And being that he had requested Brock Lesnar before the contract was even signed, this is something that he's wanted for so many years. And the fact that he's getting it, he probably has some sort of creative control in his contract. So I don't know what is going on. Again, I don't agree with the Bryan Lesnar match, even though this is something that I've personally wanted. I don't think Bryan is ready for it. I think WWE is throwing a Daniel Bryan right now with a new identity who's not ready in a ring with Brock Lesnar. It's not really a good thing. No matter if it is a Raw versus SmackDown deal and it's going to be a one-night only deal. Somehow, it has to make some sense. And in the sense of character development, Daniel Bryan makes zero fucking sense after what Bryan has been put through this year. He does not make a legitimate opponent, character-wise, for Brock Lesnar. AJ does, based on what happened last year. Samoa Joe does, just based on Joe deserving the title and the fact that he's been in the ring with Brock Lesnar as well and is a legitimate threat to Brock Lesnar and a formidable opponent based on size to Brock Lesnar. I don't know. I don't have an answer. WWE did the most unpredictable thing tonight by giving Daniel Bryan the WWE Championship and then turning him heel. So we'll find out soon enough what WWE's mindset was, but I know they had their backs against the wall. It made for a great episode of SmackDown Live. It had a big fight feel to it. SmackDown Live had a must-see aspect to it tonight. And I genuinely believe that when WWE has things like this happen, that they tend to operate a little bit more serious. And they know they need to get their shit together. And that in turn translates to what we see on TV. So I'm okay with what happened tonight, but, you know, outside of that Daniel Bryan thing, man, that's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me. That's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me. Him being the WWE champion, because if you had your marquee match in Charlotte and Ronda Rousey already announced, why would you even contemplate taking the title off AJ? Everybody would have been okay with AJ. I think more people would have been okay with AJ versus Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. I would have even been okay with a triple threat match, which a lot of people thought was actually going to happen. A lot of people were tweeting, Brock Lesnar's going to interfere. Raw is going to invade. I'm glad that they didn't do another invasion. It would have been fucking stereotypical of them to do. Because we did it on Monday, now Raw has to do it on Tuesday. No, I'm glad they didn't go that route. That's the lame route. That's the uncreative, no effort route. I would have been okay with a triple threat match. Even that Bryan could have beat Styles and then opted to get a title match out of it. Lesnar wouldn't he would have never even have to been pinned. And it would have been less work for him. Because you know he's getting ready for the UFC. I don't know, man. I genuinely don't know. I'm tapped out. I am genuinely tapped out of every fucking possible scenario here. But this is the great thing about it. This is the great thing about it. WWE has people talking about Survivor Series now, and it's all good. It's all good. I don't think anybody's talking about Survivor Series negatively at all. They got people talking for the right reasons. They made decisions that are questionable, but hopefully they could make sense of them in the weeks to come. SmackDown did a great job tonight. Raw, I don't know about Raw. Raw's a lost cause. You know, people shit on me for what happened in the closing segments of Monday Night Raw. It was lame, no effort garbage. The only thing that stood out was Becky Lynch. Becky was highlighted, and she rose above literally every other woman in that ring. I'm not going to say a segment is good for our love for Becky Lynch, or based on our love for Becky Lynch. No, I have to call bullshit when I see bullshit. The segment sucked. They did the same thing 2 years ago. 2 years in a row. You know? First it was the men. Then it was the entire roster infiltrating Raw last year. Remember that? Come on, man. Cut me some slack. You don't need to infiltrate the other show a week before the show to get your point across. All I stated was, listen, this thing should have been done weeks in advance. But no, WWE wants to push Evolution. No, WWE wants to push Crown Jewel. That's all I stated. So I don't know why people got to get on my case. Raw was garbage. What else do you expect from the Monday night show? But SmackDown, we got what we got tonight, and those were the two big things that happened on this show. Those were legitimately the two biggest things that happened on this show, man. So going over the rest of SmackDown Live tonight, which all in all was a very good show. We got that big brawl to open up the show like I had talked about. Jeff Hardy versus Andrade Cien Almas. This is something that, I don't know how much more ranting I can do. Zelina Vega was back with Almas, thank God. She's okay. She was another casualty of fucking Nia Jax. But she's back with Almas. Almas went against Jeff Hardy tonight. And Jeff Hardy beat Almas with the Swanton Bomb. Can I ask why? Jeff Hardy is... I love Jeff Hardy, don't get me wrong. I respect both he and Matt. But Jeff Hardy, I think even Jeff Hardy would utter these sentiments. Jeff Hardy is right now directionless on SmackDown Live. So why are you sending Andrade Cien Almas out there to take on Jeff Hardy and then give him another loss against a directionless Jeff Hardy? I don't understand. And everybody's telling me, oh, JD, it's going to get better for Almas. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better? When's it going to get better? The guy took a loss for no reason. Now, I understand Jeff is on the Survivor Series team, but cut the fucking guy some slack. The more you lose, the more people are going to associate you with being a loser. I don't give a shit how many great matches he's had. And don't give me the bullshit, oh, well, JD, they got to build him back up. They got to build him back up to a winning way. He's going to struggle a little bit, and then he's going to rise above through wins. Fuck that. Fuck that. Why is it so out of the fucking loop for these people to take someone from NXT who was successful and then translate them to the main roster with that same momentum of success? Why? I don't understand why that's so difficult. Why do you have to come up from NXT as a fucking champion and then start at the bottom on the fucking main roster? Why? The guy is one of the best wrestlers on the face of this earth. There's no reason why he should be in a storyline where he's coming back and trying to win. He should be a winner right out of the gate. Having him lose to Jeff Hardy is a fucking embarrassment. Not because of who Jeff Hardy is, but the fucking fact that Almas hasn't done shit on the main roster. And don't fucking tell me, JD, you have a hard-on for Almas. Maybe Vega. But Almas, I hate seeing good talent, good wrestlers wasted away. This is bullshit. Almas should be on Team Survivor Series for SmackDown. Or Team SmackDown for Survivor Series. Why is he not? He ain't even on the fucking show. But then I look at Raw, and either Sasha or Bayley are on the show either. No, but Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka are on the fucking show. Great job there, WWE. You legitimately gave us, like I said on Monday Night Raw Review, you gave us the worst possible fucking combination of women for the Raw side. Jeff Hardy wins with a Swanton bomb. Miz is backstage with Paige. Paige confirms that Daniel Bryan is no longer a part of Team SmackDown and that The Miz is now sole captain of Team SmackDown. Miz names Hardy to replace Bryan on Team SmackDown. So we see Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe in Paige's office, or the locker room, I guess. Miz says Rey is off the team, and he says Rey is off the team because he was Bryan's pick, and they need to get Bryan's stench off the team. So not only did the match between Joe and Hardy mean nothing last week, because both of them are now on the team, but now Rey is not wanted by Mysterio. Rey's not wanted by Mysterio. Rey's not wanted by The Miz. So, Paige says that's enough. Miz may be captain, but she is the general manager. Paige says Miz has to beat Rey if he wants him off the team. So Rey is looking forward to beating up The Miz, and we get another Rey versus Miz match. They very well may work good together, but I've seen this match how many times now in the last, I guess, month since Rey's been back? 4 times? Gotta be about 4 times. I'm over it. I'm over it. This was nothing more than getting Randy Orton to slither into the ring and give RKOs out. That's all that this was. So, The Miz loses here. Rey gets the 619, and Rey goes to the top, hits the frog splash. Miz turns it around for a 2 count, rolls him up, gets the knees up. Rey immediately rolls back over and slides Miz into a pin for the win to secure his Survivor Series spot. So the Miz loses to Rey Mysterio. After the match, Randy Orton hits the ring out of nowhere. Rey avoids an RKO. So Miz accidentally bumps into Orton. He gets an RKO. And Rey Mysterio leaves the ringside area with Rey and Orton talking trash to one another. So we're looking at Team SmackDown Live right now. We're looking at Shane. We're looking at Rey, Miz, Hardy, and Samoa Joe. Now, I read a report today that Shane McMahon is going to replace himself, I'm assuming. We have a 2-hour pre-show on Sunday night. I'm assuming it's going to happen there, being that it didn't happen tonight on SmackDown Live. Shane may replace himself with Randy Orton, because I don't know who else could be on the team. Randy Orton, it's either one of 2 things. He's going to replace himself with Randy Orton, or Randy Orton opted not to work Survivor Series and told Vince he don't want to work Survivor Series, or Shane gets Almas on Team SmackDown, which I would actually prefer. Because Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio on the same team, when Randy Orton's been targeting Rey Mysterio for the last 4 weeks, it's a little bizarre there. Maybe Shane don't want Orton on the team because he doesn't know how he's going to operate with Mysterio on the team, and he may not want Orton's unpredictability on the team, so he may go the safe route and pick Almas. Or maybe Rusev. I don't know. Rusev made a big stink about not being part of Survivor Series. He's also being left off the Survivor Series card as of right now as well, but I'm hearing that, and this is from credible sources, by the way, that Shane is going to be replaced at the Survivor Series. So we don't really know what's going to happen with all of that. Big Show and The Bar versus The New Day. We have Big Show and The Bar win this one. Kofi comes off the top rope. Big Show tags him with a knockout punch midair. I don't really give a shit. I'm looking forward to The Bar versus the Authors of Pain. So we'll see what happens with that. But, New Day really isn't doing anything. They're part of the SmackDown Live Tag Team Survivor Series match, which I know is going to be a fucking clusterfuck in its own right. So The Bar, I guess, needed a big win because they're going into Survivor Series against the other brand's tag team champions. You really aren't going to set them up for a decent match or a decent showing if you're going to have them lose here on SmackDown Live. So for everybody, complaining that, why'd the New Day lose? There you go. The New Day aren't fighting the Authors of Pain at Survivor Series. It's The Bar. So The Bar needed a win, right? Just like Jeff Hardy. He's on Team Survivor Series. So he needed the win over Almas, right? Shut your fucking mouth. If I wanted the right outcomes, the Bar would have lost and Almas would have won. So there you go. Same shit. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. That was the main event. Great match. Littered with commercials, though. Got the point across. We already talked about it. There's no need for me to go into what happened again. Daniel Bryan walks out, the new WWE champion. After the match, Bryan stood tall with the title. There was a great back and forth, man. People were buying into it. At first, I didn't think that they were ready for a title change or they wanted a title change, but the last 5 minutes pretty much solidified, people's excitement about what these guys were trying to tell in the middle of that ring. They were back and forth, man. AJ goes for a phenomenal forearm. Referee gets hit. He goes down, but not completely. He was bumped, but he wasn't like fucking punched in the face or anything where he was knocked out for 15 minutes. So he gets bumped. Bryan ends up dropping AJ with a low blow because AJ went to go check on Charles Robinson, who was the official in this match. Referee didn't see it. Bryan acts like it was an accident, starts laughing and smiling. He then gets this crazed look in his face and delivers a devastating running knee, and he pins AJ for the title. Also looked like, I'm not sure if it was the camera angle or if it was really something that happened, Bryan's leg looked to be underneath the bottom rope. So I'm not sure that's going to factor into anything after the fact. It's going to be the low blow that they target. So Bryan is the new WWE champion, and after the match, Bryan stomps away on AJ's arm, which was a focal point in this match. Bryan is laughing, and he snapped, booze raining down on Daniel Bryan, stomping away on AJ. Bryan stares at the title as he looks crazy. He looks legitimately like Tommaso Ciampa does with the NXT Championship right now, where Ciampa talks to the fucking title, and he thinks the title's talking back to him. I'm more open to this than I am the Bryan-Lesnar match, like I mentioned before. SmackDown goes off the air with Bryan looking over at AJ while he's knocked out cold. Great episode of SmackDown Live, man. They really brought it right before Survivor Series, but I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know what you guys are thinking right now after everything that happened tonight. I'm getting out of here, man. Guys, remember, I uploaded my Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch match being canceled, off the script extra. 30 minutes plus of that right there. Go check it out. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. And you can find that video in the top right corner in the annotation that you see in the video, man. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Tweet live with me every single pay-per-view, TakeOver, and Survivor Series. Tweet live with me at JD from NY206. Also a great way to keep up to date on all the videos on this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Give that bell the middle finger. Turn on all notifications. We are now over 101,000 subscribers. And patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys want to support the podcast, no better way to do it than patreon.com/JD from NY206. Get your t-shirts, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Code BSHOP20 for 20% off. Get the new 100,000 subscriber commemorative t-shirt. Available now on barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. It is right now the #1 selling t-shirts on Barbershop's entire website. Thank you guys so very much, man. I'm getting out of here. I am going to be back tomorrow with NXT. We got the go-home show, the TakeOver War Games. We're going to see one member of Ricochet's team and one member of the Undisputed Era going at it to find out who has the advantage in War Games coming up on Saturday, man. Plus the continued build with Ciampa and Dream, and then Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler as well, man. Thank you guys so very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT tomorrow night, and whatever else may be uploaded on the channel earlier in the afternoon. And I'm getting out of here. Hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 2,500 thumbs up on this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with more content right here on the channel. I'll talk to you later.